Hello and welcome to episode number 4 of Empower Podcast Season 3. I'm Michael Abney and I am one of your hosts of this amazing podcast, and I'm joined today with...
Marilyn Egan. I am the co-host of this show.
Yeah, we're both co-hosts.
Yes.
The terms get confused, but we're here and we have
Jeanie Gillam with us today. She is a fabulous friend, an amazing channel, and I feel like she has an incredible story and really great information to share with us today. So Jeanie,
yes.
Just tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay.
And how you got started.
Okay, so first of all, to describe what I do, I would say I'm an intuitive and an empath, and that I kind of act as a receiver, I would say, for information.
Yes.
I don't consider, technically I channel as though, I am the vessel that it travels through.
Yeah.
But I don't go out of my body. No one speaks through me, through my voice, anything like that. I connect primarily to guides, sometimes to loved ones who have crossed, sometimes to animals that have crossed if there was a close connection, and that's always fun.
Yes.
And then sometimes ascended masters of different sorts will come in. I've had this beautiful Mother Mary energy, but it encompasses all of the sacred feminine, I've found. So it speaks to things that would be associated with Mary Magdalene, to Kuan Yin, to Mother Mary. And it's just this beautiful, beautiful, feminine, loving energy that has come in to give specific messages for people.
I love that. And that's what makes you unique. It comes through your guides.
Correct.
And that's really funny. I didn't know about your divine feminine connection either, because that's how I always connect. I even named this divine feminine nobility.
Wow.
So, but it's the same group of goddesses that you were just naming.
Wow.
So interesting. Yes.
Yeah, that happened. I have a daughter, Mackenzie, who is a chiropractor and has been on the same kind of spiritual journey that I have been.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Yeah. You know Mackenzie? You know Mackenzie.
Show.
She's been on our podcast.
She's one of my 3 daughters.
She was on season 1 when we talked about the nutrition.
Yes.
On 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how cool.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. See, it's all connected.
There we go.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
there's
are
a lot of
Okay,
connection.
this is so cool.
Yeah,
I
and
love
Marilyn has been the person that taught us our Reiki. Myself, Mackenzie, and Reagan are all Reiki masters through Marilyn.
Aww.
So it's a wonderful. Marilyn's just so amazing.
I love connecting to the tribe. Like this
It
is
is.
so
It is
cool.
a tribe.
Hello.
It is. Hello. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. It's a beautiful thing. So.
Yay.
So, what was I talking? Oh, Mackenzie had started a Sacred Moms group at the metaphysical church that we were attending. And I would go and sort of be the crone in the group, I guess.
Yeah.
I kind of mothered the mothers when I would attend. And that was when I was getting a reading for one of the young moms in the group that the sacred feminine energy came through and spoke to her. And it was magnificent to channel that, to feel that presence, to feel that unconditional love, to to experience that even for a moment while I was receiving the message. It was amazing.
That is
It was
powerful.
beautiful. I felt so honored to even have that connection for a short amount of time. It's very powerful.
It is. Now, from when I talk to you and we talk about this, it feels like this really started for you as a child. You may not have realized it was happening as a child or when you were very young anyway, but can you tell us a little bit more about that and how you got started?
Yeah, I'll try to keep that condensed.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I was a child in a large family in a tiny little town. The whole area was very impoverished. It had been like a farming and mining community, and the mines had long since gone. And so a little bit of a tough childhood in many ways. There was a lot of love, a lot of light, but there was some real darkness as well. And what I found was that unknowingly, I had connected to my guides during the times of darkness. When I felt particularly threatened, I would go to what I thought was my safe space, is what I thought of it as a child. Now I go and realize that I was meditating and going into my heart chakra. And when I would go there, I would just be filled with this beautiful connection of unconditional love and this reassurance that no matter what happened to my body, no matter what happened to my mind, no matter what happened in my life that was beyond my control or how I was injured or traumatized, I would never be touched, that what I had at the core was sacred, and that I would always be protected. And I think it helped me get through my difficult childhood very much intact. I think it was quite a blessing, and I didn't realize what it was, except that I knew it was a safe space. It was what I considered it.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
And what a gift that you were able to feel that and know that.
Yeah,
growing up
100%.
in that situation.
I knew I was protected.
What a huge blessing.
It was. Because most of the avenues that a child considers safe were relatively unsafe for me. And so the normal things that you would turn to, I didn't feel comfortable doing that or had bad experiences when I did. So,
wow.
So this was just beautiful and complete protection. I knew I was protected. And yeah, I moved through life feeling that. It was later as an adult that I was actually in therapy in my 30s, and I would journal to kind of help recall things, work through things. And my therapist would read the entries, and she noticed that every so often there would be a paragraph or a page that came from a higher place, that spoke on a different level, that spoke about peace and love and very spiritual things, what not particular to my childhood, but just about how we are all connected with love, how we're never alone, how the soul is eternal and has a connection to God at all times, in all places. And she said, this is coming from somewhere else. And she wasn't a particularly spiritual person at the time. So we just kind of filed it away, and she kind of did the psychology lingo at the time and said, I think that's your helper self, I think is what they termed it, that we each have a higher self. I think that psych was calling her that at the time. But interestingly, later on, that same therapist went through a complete spiritual transition, and she spent the last 20 years on a spiritual quest, and we speak all the time now, and she has helped me work with my guides. They do readings for her, and she's kind of one of those people that gave me the bravery to expand and start doing this for other people, not just my family, to talk to the guides about them. So
that's really great. That's an incredible sacred contract that the two of you had to help each other.
That's exactly how we see it. Because, in many ways, I felt like she rescued me and saved my life, because she was exactly the therapist I needed that specialized in my type of childhood. And now I've been able to go full circle with her and really guide her through some big changes in her life through the connection to the guides. Not me, myself, personally, but, working through the guides.
Do you connect with your guides? Or do you connect with other people's guides?
Both. If I have permission.
Okay.
Sitting here, I can't just randomly choose to access Michael's guides. If you would ask me to do that, or someone would ask me on your behalf so that your permission was implied with that, then I can get access to your guides and they'll speak.
So Well, I've access on our last podcast. Holy crap. Like, seriously.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
just what happened. But like, I feel so much love right now. Like,
Yes. Well,
Like-
you feel love when Jeannie's in the room.
I
Oh,
do.
thank you.
but I'm even more open to like
Yes.
the listening to your story and how when you were a kid, and it relates so much of that
Yes.
reflects on my own life about my grandmother and that upbringing, and it wasn't the best, but how that somehow was perfect ground for me to become who I am today and beyond.
100%.
And be here now
Exactly.
for what's happening on the planet. You know,
Exactly.
like I know that's
Yes.
why you're here, and I know
I
that's why
completely
we're here.
believe that.
Yes.
Completely
You know, our whole
believe that.
podcast is really under the umbrella of living life consciously,
Correct.
and it's so many aspects are underneath that umbrella, and that's what we're showcasing. And
Right. But that umbrella is about love and living in a loving way, loving ourselves, loving others, and awakening that love all around the world is really our ultimate
Exactly.
umbrella. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
so
I've heard it
that's-
referred to as like unity consciousness,
Yeah.
which I think is
Yeah.
a very descriptive term.
Yes.
And to me, it just feels like very heart-centered, unconditional love, that we base our actions more on compassion rather than competition.
Right.
Yeah, that there's just a different emphasis
Yes.
where it's all about connecting to each other rather than how are we different and what do I need. It's what's best for all of us here. What will
Yeah.
advance us as a society, as a planet,
The highest
know.
good of all.
the highest good of all.
Yeah.
do you get
Absolutely.
specific information when you ask that?
I do. I've gotten information about things on a global scale, and
I want to ask Marilyn, what do you think like best highest use of today would be, and for value, like, because
Okay, well, let's ask you, what feels right to you? Would you like to tap into like a reading of one of us, or tap into a reading of the globe? Would you like to tap into a reading for me? See if it feels right.
or whatever feels.
okay, I'll ask them if that's
Okay.
but
Yes. Yes.
I'm usually open to whatever you ask me to do. Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do what?
If you want, do you want me to do a reading?
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be fabulous. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Let me put both feet on the floor here. And if you want to, are you going to ask me something specific or?
Do you need me to?
Sometimes it's helpful. And, you know, my idea about that, my concept is that if I just go to the guides and open the door to get information on Marilyn, then anything about you
Can
can
come
come
up,
through.
yes.
If they know what you might want to focus on, then it's almost like they know where to go in the library. They know what book to pull off the shelf or what, you know,
Yes.
where to go with that.
That
And so it
makes
can
total
be a little
sense.
bit, more
I
directed.
would really like to ask more about my trajectory in my career,
Okay,
in my work.
okay. Where is it going, are you asking?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me see what they have to say. Well, first of all, they're smiling and laughing, which seems appropriate somehow with you,
Yes.
because you always giggle. And they're saying your trajectory is clear. There's a sense that you know where it is you're wanting to go, Marilyn. That you have a really, really good idea where you're thinking of something,
Well, I am.
but it may be a stretch. That's what I'm getting. That you're feeling like it's a stretch.
Yes. Well, that we've been talking about how the podcast can be bigger and be really the biggest part of my work, but I also want to keep the peace place woven into it in some way too. So, which is a lot, but I feel like it can be done. But yeah, it could be a stretch in my human body.
They're saying the peace place will transition. And there's a sense of community stepping forward, that you've built this community base there, and that it's almost like I see the energy swirling through all around you and all around the peace place. So it lifts you up and keeps that going so that you can move off in this new direction. Not that you leave the peace place, because it carries your energy and it is so much about you. But there's a sense of others coming in, possibly, is what I'm getting.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah. And then this other piece of moving forward.
They're saying podcasts are just the beginning, and then it's almost like a sense of them like shaking their heads and going, Marilyn, you know what you want to do. Okay. You know what it is you want to do. Let me see if they'll talk more specifically. They're saying something about tenfold.
Okay.
That something will happen tenfold with you.
Okay. Does this mean like stage-like?
Oh, let me ask. They're saying a larger crowd, larger audience, more reception. They're using the word reception. So I'm...
A global community?
Let me see. That's... I would say yes. They're saying yes. And there's a sense of it not so much in person on stage, but more, I would say online, or something where people have broad access to you would be available.
Okay.
Yeah, if that's where you want to take this, that it's moving in that direction, if that's where you'd like to go.
Okay. Could we be traveling with it too?
Oh. They said yes, of course.
Yes, of
and
course.
They said you love to travel.
I do like to travel.
Yeah. Yes, of course,
yes.
You love to travel. Yeah.
Okay. So I can keep the peace place going and travel and do what we want to do, connecting with people all over the world.
100%. Yeah. Absolutely. Is that your desire to do?
I think so. I mean, I feel really drawn to go to bigger areas and bigger space. And if you can travel with your work, why not?
Okay.
Globally.
Yeah. Because I don't know if you saw, like, my left hand.
Yes.
There was this sense of expansiveness. They were like drawing out, showing me the energy is just like getting bigger and bigger. And so that would fit with these grander plans that you have. But again, there was also that sense of this just very comfortable, comforting energy swirling around the peace place, so that it will always be protected and taken care of, and the community is going to support that.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
That's
keep that going.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been really important for a lot of us. It's a very sacred space for
it is.
so many of
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
That
You're
was
welcome.
good.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the usual way that, like, my process is a little bit different, probably, in how I do readings. A lot of times I will speak to a person and just get a little feel for what they want, and then I withdraw and meditate and connect to the guides and just allow myself to be open. And basically I sit and scribble with whatever they're telling me, wherever it goes. And sometimes I'll get guides that are more day-to-day type guides, and other guides will come in that see things from a higher vantage point, and they'll speak more big picture. And I know I showed you one of my scribble notebooks,
Yes.
and my handwriting will even shift with the type of guide that comes in, whether it's closer to my own handwriting or it's very flowing. The higher guides, it's a very flowing, beautiful kind of script that comes through, just like the ideas. I think it's very representative of their ideas.
Yeah. I know what I saw was pretty amazing.
Oh,
How,
thank you.
and I could tell. It's like, okay, yes, that one was very flowy and very high. And then another one was very close, close writing, where it was, you could tell it was obviously a different kind of guide.
Correct. Yeah.
And I find that very interesting. And I know you have steps that you go through, because I know how specific and thorough that you want to be.
I do. I think that we all have access to these types of connections, and that we've just forgotten. You know, a lot of us have just forgotten, and so it's a matter of opening that and being open to that access and slowing our pace down from our everyday life so that you can feel fully connected and hear what's being said to you or experience what's being given to you. So in general, I do like an opening prayer where I start with gratitude always for all of the gifts seen and unseen, because I think that's a very important aspect of opening the connection. And then I ask to be surrounded with white love and light, protected and filled with love and light. I ask that my mind and body be cleared of any negative fear-based energy, any biases or filters that might color the way I see, just that those be suspended while I'm doing this connection. And then I align myself with only those of the divine white light is the way I perceive it. Because I do believe that just because you've crossed over doesn't mean you're completely enlightened. I believe that we continue to learn. Our soul continues to learn and grow on the other side. Yeah. And so when I don't necessarily want to be open to just any loved ones who have crossed. So if I were doing a reading for you, I would ask that the loved ones who can speak to the highest and greatest good of this person, please step forward as well. And then otherwise I'm working with, in the divine light, it would be angels, you know, what Catholics would consider saints, ascended masters, guides, spirit guides, some that have incarnated, some that haven't, is my perception of what happens and what I get. And then I just open myself and ask that, again, love and light be my guide, or that I be a clear and perfect channel. And then I wait. And the big thing for me is just getting out of the way. That's what I just need to show up and open up and do it with a willing heart and an intention to help. And then I open myself up to see what comes through. And I see my job as sort of the recorder, the translator. I will get impressions. I will get pages of material. Sometimes it's very, like I said, global. Sometimes it's very life purpose related. Sometimes it's very, very specific, down to this person needs to be on this medication, and they'll tell me the medication or something to that, you know. So it can be that too. And I will just take down the message that I'm getting, and if the individual has specific questions, I'll ask those to the guides. They may or may not answer. Sometimes they'll give me what the person needs, not what they asked for. And sometimes there's a different feeling I'll get when the guides are not answering because it's not appropriate to answer. That's part of that person's life lesson. And there's a really different feel to that, the way I experience that. They just go very quiet and still, And then I'll say, I don't have access to that yet, or this person is not supposed to have, and they'll let me know that, that is the case. And then I know not to pursue it.
I think
so
that's
it's
a very
interesting.
powerful message too. Just
It is,
in that
yeah.
fact that this is part of what you are supposed to learn by the other information that you've received.
Right,
or
right.
You're supposed to get the answer to that question.
Right. Or this is your journey.
Well,
Yes,
even
to
even
struggle with
that
this.
Yeah.
even that is beneficial.
Yes.
Just
Okay.
knowing that is a
Is
part
an
of
answer.
it takes the overwhelm out of it.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I just try to be very clear and
Yeah.
and always in integrity. I try to be careful with my wording because the guides that I work with, they'll have certain words that I've come to recognize that we don't normally use today a lot.
Yeah.
Like they'll say somebody's using a device to do this, and they don't mean a machine necessarily. It could be, but a device to them is any kind of structure or process or kind of checklist you go through. It doesn't mean that it's a physical device necessarily.
Like we would say tool,
We
where
might
journaling
say-
can be a tool.
Right,
Or
right.
a hammer can be a tool.
Right, or even like a mathematical formula
mathematical
could be
formula.
a device. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
A behavior could be a device if it's something you do routinely.
Yeah.
So I'll have them try to, when I get that word, I'll try to elaborate.
Yes.
But yeah,
So on a daily basis, do you just tap into things going on in the world, things that are beneficial for you or your family members to know, or where do you go with that? How do you ask that question?
I've asked it in every kind of way, I think, over the last several years. Sometimes it's almost overwhelming, the answers that I'll get. And like I said, the guides will at times speak about global things, not so much politics, but trends. I was looking through some of my old journals, and back in 2012, they were talking about the shift in energy, and they didn't call it an awakening, but that's what they described. They talked about the veils thinning and lifting. They talked about how December 21st, 2012, would not be an ending, but that there wouldn't be a huge physical shift on the planet, but there was going to be a huge energetic shift. And that we would be feeling that in waves and waves and waves.
Which we are.
That's pretty
We are,
accurate.
for sure.
Yeah.
It was really accurate. It was almost eerie to go back and look. And they mentioned some trends that we're seeing now. Some of the darker things that are being exposed, which they weren't really coming out at that point. Some of the things like, I would say Jeffrey Epstein would fall into some of this category.
Categories.
They talked about normalizing sexual perversions would become something that was happening, that would be a trend.
Yeah.
And there was a sense that as the veil lifts and the light shines, everything's revealed. So the beautiful things are revealed, our
Right
beautiful
along.
connections. But you also see these other things that can be really, really difficult for us as humans to incorporate. So
And so did they continue to give you a message that stay in, your spiritual body, stay connected to?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. They said it's not. I asked, is the key to moving through this difficult time? Is it staying in love? Is it? And they said, well, that's part of it. But they also said that as humans, we have to fight for what's rightfully ours and fight for the truth to be revealed to us, and to, whether it's to our leaders or our media or whatever, that's part of it too, is standing up for our birthright, that we are entitled to know our own history, to know our own spirituality, to be free to feel the connections that we feel.
And to fully express.
Exactly.
Express.
Express. Yeah, for sure.
So it's almost like a boundary.
Say more about that.
Whether when you were saying that, because fight to me is, like resisting.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I didn't perceive it. Maybe that's not the right word, but it was more about claiming.
Claiming. Yes.
That was
Yes.
it.
Like a stand, and
exactly.
like you can
Say,
talk about all
yep,
this that you want to,
Yeah.
but you're not taking away my understanding of how energy
got it.
works and my
You've got
ability
it.
to share it with other people so that
You've
they know
got
how
it.
it works.
Yes.
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 So that your whatever you think you're doing
Yeah.
no longer works.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
I'm feeling
Yeah.
that like on a
Yeah.
level that I've never felt before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that it's okay because there was a time when I knew to keep my head down.
Yeah.
Right.
I understand that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Well, and I mean,
I'm not like that now.
right. And not only in that area of life, but in the energy work world.
Yeah.
We had to not be so forward then, too. It took time
Oh, for sure.
for us to come out and say,
We're all coming out of the closet,
Coming
kids.
out of the
We're
closet,
just
you
all
know,
coming out of the closet.
And that's a funny story because
Yes.
we had that, the dual closets at our house.
Yes.
And it became a joke between Reagan and I.
Oh, yeah.
Who my youngest daughter is married to a woman. And my husband, her dad, was not aware that she had that type of attraction at the time. And this was before she got married, when she first had met Liz, the gal that she married. And so he was unaware. And he was also unaware that I was doing anything to do with psychic activity or channeling and I was not sneaking, but I'd go up to my little office upstairs and do readings for people. And I was afraid. He's a very practical man. He's a very kind, loving man, but he's very grounded in the here and now practical world. And so Reagan and I were joking over which one is going to come out first.
Yeah.
And actually it was her. So she was braver than I was.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yay.
free coming out of the closet.
It is, and he handled both
Yeah.
beautifully.
But-
Absolutely beautifully.
Yes,
so
yes.
we needn't have worried. But yeah.
That's so great that
There's
he was open and
Yeah.
It is. And again,
Yes.
I think if you lead with love,
Yeah.
right.
then you don't have a problem, because I love my daughter, and
Yes.
I have no problem with who she chooses to love or be with. Even if I did, why would that affect me?
Exactly.
It doesn't affect the
Or
way
anyone.
she feels about me. Well, that's
Or
yes,
anyone.
exactly. I mean, that is.
You just
I don't want to
her-
know about any
just-
of my children's, sex
You just
lives.
want to be
Personally,
happy.
I
Yeah.
want them to be happy and whole and loved, to be in a respectful type of
Right.
relationship, and I couldn't ask
And
for a
she's
better
got it.
partner
Yes.
for my daughter.
She is fabulous. I
Yeah.
know they're a great couple.
They are a great couple. They are a great couple. So every mother's dream.
Here's the
Isn't it
flying out of
great?
all the closets.
There
Yes,
we go.
all
Yeah.
of us.
Yes,
All of
it's
it.
like step into your power and own
It's
who
being
you
authentic.
are.
You can't
Authentic,
be authentic
100
if you're hiding.
You cannot.
and
Exactly.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yay to you for
Yeah.
flying
Yeah.
out.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Yeah.
I did. I have a lot of experience in that area.
There you go.
I flew out of a few closets in my lifetime.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh,
The right
God,
place
so
to
cool.
be. So out in the
Oh.
light. So
Yeah.
So- I have one question before we wrap up today. How could somebody listening to this start to, not and we all are channels, in my opinion.
I
Right?
agree.
Like
Yes.
so, but it may not be to the level that you are or somebody else. But like, how can somebody feel? I think it's powerful to feel connected
I do too.
and know and have that knowing that you're connected. So somebody that feels lost or is listening to this that may be unsure, anxious, even about the conversation, like what would be some steps that you think that they could take on the daily or whatever to start to begin to connect? Is there something that you or practice or just from your perspective?
That's a really good question. One that I hadn't thought through beforehand. To me, the first thing is to slow down, to slow your movement, to slow your thoughts, to be fully present in where you are and who you are. I think that when you do that, some people become very uncomfortable because their wounds, their traumas are there, and when you become still, you have to experience that. And that can be very, very painful. And so, to me, you embrace the trauma, embrace what that was. You own that too, that's a huge, huge piece. And along with whatever the trauma is in your life, because we all have had traumas, everyone does, it's not getting stuck in the recognition of, oh, I was abused in this way, or oh, I had this problem, or this happened to me. That's step one. That's just the identification process. Then you have to kind of lean into it and look at what did that do to me and how did I react? And go back to yourself, the self that you were at that point, and love that self and love the person that withstood that trauma, that made the best choices they could make at the time, that survived it. Yeah. And forgive yourself for doing something that you wouldn't do today, because today is a different time. Today is a different space. You're a different person. So you have to extend your love, and I mean absolute gratitude, and I mean in a real heartfelt sense, to where you're really thinking about that. Think about yourself as a child or as a young adult or whatever the case is, and have compassion and love for that person that was faced with a major struggle of some sort, did the absolute best that they could, and whatever that choice was, it's brought you to today. And so you have to be grateful that that person who you were has brought you forward to this moment. And if you survived it, that was the one thing I always remembered. If I survived it as a child, I certainly can process it as an adult. I certainly can face it and incorporate it and love myself enough to say, you can let go of that now. You can let go of that behavior that served you so well back then, whether you had to escape through drugs or alcohol or whatever it was to make that go away. And you don't have to anymore. Yeah, you bridge to now and understand that that was adaptive then. It's not adaptive now, you know?
So if somebody does that, which is amazing advice and amazing words, but if they can do that with themselves, that also would automatically give them the ability to see that in others and not be so judgmental. And
absolutely. Well, actually, it did me for sure.
Support others.
Support
it really does.
Others. That's compassion a huge key because we try to hide that stuff.
We do.
So it's another element of coming out of the closet.
Yeah, it really is. And again, it brings you back to that unity and that heart connection.
We're all human.
Humanists. What do we have in common? And we have this in common. Yes. And once you can feel that love, you can release it. You can release. I mean, not that patterns are hard to break, but I think a huge part of being stuck is not forgiving yourself, not accepting and not honoring yourself for having been there and lived through something so difficult, and giving me the opportunity to be here today to choose what I want to do. And now maybe I'll choose differently if I have different options, if I have more control. So.
And you're the perfect example of you survived then and you bridged over to thrive, because you do thrive in everything you do.
Thank you.
I was going to say the same thing.
And that's
I
that's
think
what you can share with people.
That is, I mean, and
teach people.
That's what we can do.
Yes.
I mean, we as humans can do that.
That's what we did today.
Yay. So
thank
good.
you, Jeanie.
Oh,
thank you
nice to
so
connect with
much.
both of you.
It's so great.
Yay.
Thank you for having me.
We could talk all afternoon.
We could. There's so many little ways we could go with this. So,
But that is so great, and I thank you for being here and telling us your story and showing us how you utilize this in your work now.
Yeah.
And what a gift you are bringing, because you are also opening up a place where more energy workers are going to be with you. Just a really quick thing of what you're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm in the process. I just purchased a building in Old St. Charles, and we're opening a healing center there. It will be called Touchstone Healing Arts.
Yay.
Yay. And touchstone is one of the words my guides have used to speak to someone or something that you go back to kind of check in and find your way. When you've lost your way, you go back there. And somebody that is like a way shower, but in a more way of holding space. You know, it doesn't have to be an active, but it's something that provides that safety, that nurturing, that space.
And connection.
In connection, yeah. So that's what we're hoping.
We will put that information in the description box below.
Thank you.
And if you guys have any questions for any of us, please leave it in the comment below, and like and share this podcast if it made a difference for you. And just again, thank you so much for taking the time to be here today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Providing value to our listeners. We appreciate
honor.
it so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
And we will see
See you
all
on the
later.
next one. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.